2 games into the season. And I'll call it the way I'm seeing it. The Green Bay Packers look like the best team in football. And that's what they look like. I'll be honest. They play in every phase. I know McManus, every single time he gets up there, I think of the usual suspects. And they play lights out defense, and their offense is being run by a quarterback who's a kid no more. They've got wide receivers that probably aren't on your fantasy team for days. And now they got, Rob Gronkowski and or Kittle in Wisconsin, right? And Tucker Kraft. And he was the main weapon. Josh Jacobs keeps scoring touchdowns. He now has a rushing touchdown in 11 straight games, tying Jonathan Taylor and Priest Holmes for the second most all-time. Should Josh Jacobs, crease the end zone in Cleveland in Week 3, he would tie LaDainian Tomlinson for the most such consecutive games since 2000, including the playoffs. Those are the active streaks we're talking about. And so they run it effectively, they throw it effectively, and boy, do they play defense. And they have now taken out the division winner in their own division last year in Week 1, and the team that eliminated them, and then the aforementioned division winner in last year's season in the Lions, the Commanders, took care of business by taking out the Packers and then took out the Lions. And the Packers, in the first 5 days of this season, first 2 weeks of this campaign, took them both out and made them look pedestrian in the process, made them look mediocre in the process, left the Lions to go back to Detroit, wondering if they've lost their 2 coordinators and thus their mojo. And now with the Commanders, it's amazing that we're talking about it this way, but making the Commanders look like the oldest roster in the league. And it is, again, Jordan Love in a quarterback-driven league. Jordan Love with the performance on Wednesday night, getting this team to 2-0, and in so doing, took care of business to a considerable tune with his 14th career start with 2 or more passing touchdowns and no interceptions. Only in the first 35 career starts out of active players, Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy have had more. And when you look at his numbers now, similar to Aaron Rodgers through his first 35 career starts.
That's funny.
He's 20-15 through his first 35 career starts. Rodgers was 19-16. His passing completion percentage, Rodgers through his first 35 career starts, 64.6. Love is 63.6. The yards per attempt, Rodgers 7.8, Love 7.5. Passing touchdowns to interceptions, Rodgers 63 touchdowns to 23 interceptions. Love 62 touchdowns to 23 interceptions. The passer rating of Rodgers of 98.1, Love 96.6. I mean, right there. And what did Rodgers do when he was 27 years old? Won his championship in Green Bay. Love turns 27 in November. As the Packers have started 2-0 for the first time since 2020, when they made the NFC Championship game and got bounced by Tom Brady and the Bucs. And Tom Brady's not walking through that door except to call their games, which I imagine he will be calling a bunch of because the Packers look like the best team in football, and Fox has the NFC package and will be no doubt showing a ton of Packer games because, again, I just gave you Love's excellence, but the defense is balling out. This was the head coach about his defense after the game last night.
Relentless. Just physical, aggressive, attacking. The play style is exactly what we want from these guys, and it always starts with the energy and effort. That's gonna get you through and can overcome for some of the mistakes. So I just thought, I think our front is extremely disruptive, getting after the quarterback. It didn't seem like they ran the ball very effectively at all either. So, I think Half's done a hell of a job. I think our players are doing a great job feeding off one another, and it's definitely exciting to watch our defense go out there and perform, because I think they allow us to get up on somebody.
Half being Jeff Hafley, the coordinator he brought from college football, and he's coordinated it up. I mean, after holding the Lions to the fewest yards per play in a game in 4 years, and Jared Goff throwing his first red zone interception in 3 years, and holding the Lions to their fewest rush yards in a game in 2 years, they go ahead and snuff out Jaden Daniels, and the Commanders with just 18 points. It's tied for the fewest points scored in any of Jaden Daniels' 22 career starts, while also in all of Jaden Daniels' 22 career starts, this was the fewest total yards per play, rush yards, and first downs. That's what they did. And again, we're talking about the Commanders having the oldest roster in the league, and boy, do they look old. And they have maybe the best young quarterback in the league in the unicorn.
Right.
That's what the defense did. That's what the Packers are up to, and major reasons why are all over the place. I've given you all. But the thing that makes them feel that much more special is because they field Micah Parsons.
Jeez.
Dude,
I don't want to talk about it.
29 snaps is what he played 5 days ago, and they got him up to 44 last night. And in his 44 snaps, he led the team in 8 quarterback pressures. 8. Okay? He played 2/3 of the snaps on Thursday night and just dominated.
Yeah.
He was everywhere.
Everywhere.
It was funny. That was what happened because Coop went out to dinner, came back in. We're watching the fourth quarter, and the Packers are on defense. And he says, "Where's Micah Parsons?" And I responded, "Everywhere."
What was that movie? Everywhere, All at Once?
Yeah,
or whatever
everything,
that movie was?
everywhere, all at
Yeah,
once.
that was Micah last
And like that movie, Micah is award-winning.
Yeah. Well, he's now the betting favorite for Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, I mean, because he's hardly played, 29 snaps, 44 snaps they did in 5 days, and he's ready to play more. I mean, he sounded upset about playing on a snap count. I do believe we have that soundbite from Micah Parsons, if I'm not mistaken, after the game, after he hung out with the Amazon Prime Video postgame.
Yeah, that was fun.
Had this to say.
Man, I just hope I'm full go. Honestly, it's pissing me off. I tell them it's just more worse than good. I get tight and stuff. Like, hopefully they just let me off, man. They can't hold a dog back forever, man.
Well, 10 days from now, 10 days from now is when he'll be out there again and on the same field as Myles Garrett. And he wants to start proving a little bit more. And again, it's a team effort. I understand Rashawn Gary had a sack. Van Ness looks like he's found himself. The rest of the team, boy, that back end of the defense was shutting things down. Daniels had nowhere to find anybody. And they were rushing for and keeping him in the pocket and didn't let him out to run the football. As a matter of fact, his 17 rush yards, second fewest rush yards in a game in his career. Yeah, and this is what the Packers defense is doing right now. And, who is the one whose soundbite are we throwing to right now? Mike Hoskins, if you don't mind me pointing him. Okay, Sean Nixon. Yeah, he was very direct as to
Yes,
to why things are working for the Packers defense now in a way that we didn't see last year and previous years.
Is there a different swagger or excitement with the defense that you feel when you're on the team, on the defense?
Swagger? Didn't last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Micah Parsons.
Okay, there you go. It's as plain as day. I am directing my
TJ,
comments
I'm
at
so
you,
sorry.
TJ, because I'm telling you, I told you earlier in the week the way this is going to work. It's every Packer game through week 4 when they play the Cowboys, then pages will be turned, okay? Pages will be turned until the end of the year. And if the Packers go on this run that a lot of people are seeing for them, rightfully so, through 5 days. I don't believe this is an overreaction, that they can go deep based on what we've seen, what they've done to two of the best playoff teams from last year, or at least regular season teams going into the playoffs, and one of the best playoff teams from last year, Final Four team last year. Yep. They beat last night and handily. It's going to then return that Micah was the missing piece, ingredient, accelerant on the flame that was already burning in Green Bay. And I tweeted out last night, evergreen tweet, I can't believe the Cowboys traded Micah Parsons. How do you do such a thing? With all due respect to Kenny Clark, you cannot dominate a game from his position unless you're as good as Aaron or Donald or Miles. Dexter Lawrence or Myles Garrett when he wants to line up in there. How do you do that? And how do you keep him? How do you send him in conference? How do you send him to a hated non-divisional rival? How do you do such a thing just because you couldn't figure something out? And you could see him, he's inflamed by it. He's outraged by it. You saw him dapping up his teammates, doing the leadership thing the Cowboys were trying to get from him. And I guess, I don't know if he was an immature guy in Dallas, this whole business over business is personal crucible that he just went through over the last few months might have aged him up. And now he's a grown-ass man. We'll see how it goes. We'll see when he starts podcasting, what he says, what he does. I don't know. Am I great against his teammates? Or I have no idea. But right now, the Packers look like the best team in football, and for good reason. They're doing it in every phase, and they're doing it to teams that were terrific last year. We're assuming will be good this year. We might look back on weeks 1 and 2 and say, well, those weren't all that impressive based on the way that they've come out of the game. But I think we can all assume in terms of rosters, the Lions and the Commanders are in the top third of the league, and they played with them like a cat does with a ball and catnip. I mean, they just toyed with them. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.